more questions.
All right, Blessing, no, not Blessing, Michelle and Tim, does that clarify that question?
Can I ask one more question, please?
Okay, go ahead, please.
So in regards to an increment, that is, we're looking at it as a bunch of tasks under the sprint backlog. So let's say that most of the tasks are considered done, but there's just one task that is potentially, it's not meeting the expectation of the customer. Does that mean that the whole increment was a potential, or is it just that one task?
Okay, remember, I'm not sure what you're calling tasks. You know, there are user stories and then there are tasks, right? So most of the time we are measuring users, we are really looking from user story standpoint. We are not really looking at the tasks. The tasks are just the activities that you do in order to complete that user story. That's what the task is. So let's assume that you committed to, let's say, 6 user stories. You are only able to, and remember, the way you craft good user stories should be end to end, which means that by the time you're done with crafting that user story and they are done with developing it, it should be a working functionality. It shouldn't only be a design user story. It shouldn't only be a development user story. So that's how it works. So let's assume that out of the 5 user stories, you're able to accomplish 4. And then the last one, you did 99.99%. You will not be demoing that one that you're not done with it yet. You only demo what you have completed, tested, and you think that is done, it meets the definition of done. If you know that there is still one that is not done, even if it's 99.999% complete, you will not show the customers. So the 4 are now what you categorize as the increment. It may be any kind of functionality. It may be doing it may be 4 different functionalities. It may be that it's just one functionality. The 4 user stories is one functionality. It may be that the 5 user stories is 5 different functionalities. You see, so it just depends on what the developers understand as what they are doing. But the point is, it should be valuable, it should be usable, and it should be shippable. So that's what an increment is. So don't worry about what the tasks are. We don't even consider it that way. We look at, okay, is this usable? Is this a real functionality, or is it just a bunch of tasks that doesn't add any value? So if you're looking at it as task or focusing on task, it means that you're tempted to want to be worrying about output instead of outcome. We want to achieve outcome at the end of the sprints. That is value. We are value driven as opposed to output driven. So that's how that works.